All right. So this is going to go over the 9.3 homework. So in this says using your conjectures to solve for 1 through 17, and for each exercise explain how you determined your answer. So with A, we'll start there. You can see we have a central angle which is 130, so its intercepted arc is also 130 by the definition of arc measure. So this is because of the definition of arc measure. Central angle is that basically the intercepted arc equals central angle. And then for A is going to be 1/2 the measure of the intercepted arc, which is 65 degrees. And that's going to be because of the inscribed angle conjecture. Which in this case we're going to abbreviate as IA. So will come up a lot. Okay. In number 2, we can see that this angle here is 90 degrees because of the angles inscribed in a semicircle conjecture. And that we'll call it angles inscribed in a semicircle are right angles. And that's going to make B equal to 180 minus 90 minus 60, which equals 30 degrees. So let's see, equals 30 degrees. So that's because the angles in a triangle add to 180. Okay. So in number 3, what are we going to get? Well, we can see that C plus 120 equals 95 times 2 because of the IA conjecture. It says that the measure of the inscribed angle is half the measure of the intercepted arc, or twice the inscribed angle equals the intercepted arc. So that means C plus 120 equals 190, which means C would be 70. And you're done. In number 4, we have arc H. That's 40 degrees. We draw a right triangle, we draw a radii. This is going to be perpendicular because that's because of the tangent conjecture. That a radii and a tangent are perpendicular to each other, conjecture 74. So a radius is perpendicular to a tangent line. And let's see, that means that this would be 50, which means H would also be 50 because of the definition of arc measure, right? So you have 180 minus 90 minus 40 equals 50. And then h equals 50 because of the definition of arc measure, which says that the measure of the arc equals the measure of its central angle that intercepts that arc. Okay, number 5. Let's see here. Well, we can see here this is 40 because of IA conjecture. And what else we got? Oh, well, E, this is 2E right here. Again, that's because of IA. And that's going to mean that 2E plus 2E plus 96 will equal 180. So 2E equals 84. So E is 42. So 42 degrees. That's because we have a diameter making that a semicircle. And so now D is going to be 180 minus 40. Let's put the answer over here. That's going to be 140 degrees. And so that's 180 minus 40 equals 140. And we're good. Okay. Next is number 6. We have a cyclic quadrilateral. And we know that with a cyclic quadrilateral, opposite angles are supplementary. And so F would be 90 because of the cyclic quadrilateral conjecture. Says opposite angles are supplementary. And so what would G be then? Let's see. Well, we know that the angles so we know that this whole arc right here is 150 degrees because of the inscribed angles conjecture, so twice 75. And so G will equal 360 minus 110 minus 150, which equals 100 degrees. Okay. Next is we have a rectangle, and that's going to mean that these are parallel to each other. And so arc CA is congruent to arc ML because of the parallel lines, intercepted arcs conjecture. Parallel lines, intercepted arcs conjecture. And so that's going to mean that ML is 32 degrees. And that would make this also equal to X. Since that's because of the chord arcs. These are congruent because they're rectangles. So chord arcs conjecture says that if two chords in a circle are congruent, then their intercepted arcs are congruent. So if two chords in a circle are congruent, then their intercepted arcs are congruent. And so that's going to mean that 2x plus 32 plus 32 will equal 180. Oops. Will equal 360, the entire circle. And so if you subtract 64 from both sides, 2x will equal 296. And divide both sides by 2. X will equal 148 degrees. So 148. Great. Okay. There's page 1. Next one is 12. Let's see what we got here. We again have a cyclic quadrilateral, and so that's going to make this 90. Cyclic quadrilateral conjecture. And that's going to mean that this whole arc right here is 180. So that means that 40 plus m equals 180. Oops. Equals 180 because of IA. So m would be 140. And then n, let's see. So m is 140. Well, we can go ahead and figure out what this arc is right here. That arc's going to be 360 minus 140 minus 40 minus 98, which is 82 degrees. And so that's going to mean that n will be 82 plus 140, right? But let's see here. The inscribed angle is half the measure of the intercepted arc. So the inscribed angle n is half the measure of this intercepted arc right here. Right? And so that's going to be 1/2 times 222, which is 111 degrees. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and finish the remaining problems in the next video.